It's Tuesday morning. Yesterday I worked on the Vic all day because I think it was 4 degrees outside. Right now it's 5 degrees. I think it may get up to 25 by the end of the day. Maybe. And then tomorrow start progressively warming up to where by Wednesday afternoon, Thursday afternoon, I'll probably do a couple of stump drops because it'll be in the mid 40s. And then we're going to have a big drop again this weekend. But anyway, so yesterday I finished sanding the car. That it had the polyester high build spray on Bondo, let's just call it, okay? Retaped the car. I sprayed it last night with a high build 2K primer. And what I use, I'll show you right here. I use the Upol system. It's 4-to-1 high build primer. There's a standard hardener. And if it's too thick, it requires a 1.7 or 2.0 gun. I'm sorry, your Harbor Freight purple gun ain't gonna handle it. I reduce it down a little bit by 5% if it gets too thick. It's very easy to do. Your measuring cups will show you that. So we sprayed it. I'll pull the paper off this car, and then I'm going to put guide coat on it, and then I'll show you what I do as far as sanding it. I use a sandpaper on a block, and I wet sand. But I use a very special sandpaper that I found, and I'll show you all that in a little bit once I put the guide coat on this car. This is what we're going to be using this morning on the car. I'm just going to show you the materials first before I pull the paper off this car and unwrap it. You're going to use the same blocks we used on the car to do the sanding of the spray-on Bondo, which is polyester spray-on filler. All right, and then now I'm going to show you the paper I use. I'm going to wet sand this car with 400 grit. This paper is made by a company called Oslong. You can use whatever you want to use, but this paper comes on a roll. It's PSA paper. That means when you pull this white off, it sticks and sticks on these blocks. I love this stuff. It lasts a long time, and it's a very, very, I'll tell you who uses this. Custom boat builders, people that build yachts and stuff like that. That's how I found this. So it's a wet and dry sandpaper. I use it wet. Then we got our guide coat. I got a pair of scissors to cut it off the roll, and a clean new microfiber rag to do my final wipe down, and then a 3M and a lot of different companies. You can buy these everywhere. It's just a squeegee to squeegee off at the end. So these are my different blocks I'll be using. And then this, my old standby. My wife likes to buy whatever, big bottles of water. She thinks there's something in it or whatever. Makes her feel good. Who cares? So I drill a little hole in the cap. That way I can squeeze out. Holds a lot of water. But I also put a drop or two of dishwashing soap in there. It helps everything glide and helps everything clean itself off, and your hands become very clean at the end. And an old guy, you'll know, don't worry, Marge, it's Palmolive dishwashing liquid my hands are soaking in. Some old guy remembers that commercial, not you young guys. Anyway, that's how we're doing it now. So what I'm going to do now is put the guide coat on and pull off this paper, and no need for you guys to watch that boring stuff. And then I'll show you what's going on in a section. Wherever section I stop at, I'll show you how this sanding process goes. We're all the way down to the passenger side rear quarter panel of sanding. It's the 400 grit, right? 400 grit, piece of 400 grit here, and then the water bottle full with a little bit of soapy water with a little pinhole here. Listen, I gotta tell you something. I know this sounds tedious and stuff. This is not production work, all right? And this is not made for the production guy, this video. This is for you in your garage. You got an old pickup truck, or you got your first car and it's a POS, but you want to make it look a little better. Practice on it, all right? So that's what it takes, to practice. And you're not gonna, your first time around is not gonna be perfect. If you're scared of the spraying part, I understand. When I used to have a shop, people would do their own prep work at times, a father and son team. I remember it was a GTO. Came to me, it was I think it was a Judge GTO. Some of you know what that is. It was a specialty model. I don't remember if it was 69 Judge or what. They were orange and stuff. Anyway, long story short, father and son came to me. They did all the body work on it, and they told me it was ready to paint. And the paint store recommended me, and I said, yeah, I'll spray it on a Saturday for you. Excuse me. They brought the car by. I said, whoa, whoa, whoa. I was honest with them. A lot of painters, they're being paid to paint. So if there's a dent somewhere or a ding or a scratch or whatever, and they know it's not going to cover up, that's all right. Drop it off, I'll paint it. It's kind of like going to Mako or something like that. Well, I know this father and son put a ton of work in this car. I just told them, hey, I pointed out everything. I circled everything. I put pieces of tape on stuff. I says, go back. Take your time. Call me when you think you're ready. I'll look at it again. They were disappointed, but they called me up. Said, okay, we're ready again. Brought the car. I looked at it. I say, I'm looking down the side of this car. No, it's not ready yet. I told them what to do, a little bit more here and there, and they did. And they weren't. I spoke to them in a nice way, in a compassionate way. I said, listen, you put this much time in the car, you want it to come out nice. Just take your time a little bit more. They came to me, I sprayed it. The only thing I didn't like about the spray job was the guy at the paint store, and I tried to talk these guys out of it. The guy talked them into Emeron. And Emeron, a lot of you guys won't know what it is. It's a very hard industrial paint used on machinery. I mean, it's used on everything from bulldozers to whatever. And it's tough. It's durable. I was like, this is not the paint for a GTO Judge. But, hey, they already bought the paint. Okay, I had the color mixed. So I went ahead and sprayed it. And I had to spray, the paint guy sold them on Emeron Clear. This is going back, 40 years ago. Emeron Clear, I was like, Emeron Clear? Okay, if that's what you want, you want. And they sprayed it, and then it came out nice. But, back then I was used to even the first advancements that come up at that period of time was we were still using lacquer, and then they came out with a urethane clear to go on top of the lacquer. And I don't remember the name of it, but it used to have a jet plane on it. It was called an aircraft clear. And anyway, that's what we used to do. We used to color sand that and buff it, and it used to look $1 million. And then in the following year, they came out with single stage that you could buff. And then they came out 6 months later, Sherwin-Williams came out with 2-stage. And that's where you are now, 2-stage. And that's what's going on here, 2-stage. That means it's a base coat of color, and then there'll be the clear put on it. And then I've decided that I'm most likely going to float coat this car, which means it'll be sprayed with the base coat, sprayed with 3 coats of clear, sanded flat again. The clear will be sanded with probably 600 to 800, and then 2 more coats of clear float on it so it has a glass appearance. Then that will be color sanded all the way up to 5,000 grit, 3 to 5,000 grit, and then polished. I know, I'm overkilling stuff. I want it to look nice. I got nothing but time. That's what I'm trying to teach you. You got time. So, we got our 400 grit on here. Here's our block. Let me show you the reason why you put that guide coat on here, which I did, is because while you're sanding, and see, I'm not going straight across, I'm going on a cross hatch, and then I'll stand up and do cross hatch this way. Let me show you what we're looking for, okay? Now, I barely even did this. This stuff sands very easy. The 2K primers do. All right, you see a little, I know it's hard for you to tell, but you see little color differentials. I'll be sanding that, and that's showing me orange peel. And that'll come right out. And there's no dents on this car. All right, this car's coming out straight as a railroad track. Anyway, I'll close this video out and just want to tell you, you know what? When you're doing something like this, it's also therapy. Especially if you're an old guy, do something in your shop. If you suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder and you're an ex-military guy, which, good Lord, we've been at war for over 20 years. So if you went in and you were 20 years old, you'd be 40 years old now, all right? Or if you were in your 30s, you'd be 50 years old now. People don't realize time flies. Anyway, find yourself something to do that puts all your mind in it. All your thoughts for that day are working on this. I go to sleep at night and I want to get this done on this, or whatever. I'm building machinery, I want to get that done. I keep my mind off of my post-traumatic stress disorder. So, as I always say, God bless you. My God, talk about some trolls. I had to delete a bunch of trolls that were bombarding me for working on a Sunday. I made a short about working on Sunday. I deleted half the freaking comments because why wasn't I in church? It's 4 degrees out. There's a snowstorm. Plus, I'm Roman Catholic. I can go to church on either Saturday night or 12 o'clock noon if I wanted to, right? Anyway, what if I was Jewish? I would have went to church or the synagogue Saturday. Whatever. Why jump on somebody about something so simple as that? Man, the world is just on edge. So I don't want you to be. God bless you. Have a good one, man.